The parking lot was nearly empty when I saw her. Mixed breed, maybe 50 pounds, standing beside a rusted pickup with her head down. Pregnant. Obviously, pregnant. The kind of pregnant that said these puppies were coming any day, whether anyone was ready or not. The man holding her rope leash was getting impatient. Posted her on the community board at $500 yesterday, then $300 this morning, now standing here with a handwritten sign that said $150 OBO. Still no takers. People were walking past them to their cars like they didn't exist. Like a pregnant mutt in a Walmart parking lot was invisible. $100, the man said, voice flat, checking his phone. Someone give me $100 for this dog. She's bred. You're getting the mama and a whole litter for one price. $100 and I'll throw in the food I got left. I raised my hand. Didn't think about it. Didn't plan it. Just saw her standing there unwanted and heavily pregnant and raised my hand. The man took my cash, my last $100, the money meant for the electric bill, and handed me the rope. I just bought a dog I didn't need with money I didn't have for reasons I couldn't explain. Story of my life. My name is Carolyn Frazier. I'm 47 years old. I run a small rescue in rural Georgia called Frazier's Safe Haven. More of a halfway house, really. A place where dogs nobody wants can get cleaned up, healed, and rehomed instead of dying in a shelter or dumped in the woods. I've got 4 acres, 11 dogs at any given time, and a bank account that's usually in the red. But I couldn't leave that dog in the parking lot. Couldn't let her end up tied to a tree somewhere because nobody saw value in her. Couldn't let a pregnant dog become a statistic because she wasn't cute enough or purebred enough or convenient enough. So I bought her for $100 and figured I'd work out the details later. Loading her into my Subaru was easy. She climbed into the back seat like she'd done it 1,000 times. Settled in without fuss. Just sat there with that patient resignation pregnant dogs get when they're close to whelping. That look that says, this is happening whether you help or not, so you might as well help. You got a name? I asked, glancing at her in the rearview mirror. She didn't answer. Just sat there being pregnant and patient and waiting for whatever came next. I called her Goldie. Not for her coat, that was too matted and mud-caked to tell what color it even was, but for her eyes. These bright amber eyes that caught the light when she finally looked at me. Eyes that said she'd been somebody once. Goldie because a $100 dog with eyes like that deserved a name that meant something. Goldie settled into my rescue like she'd always been there. Took the quarantine kennel, ate kibble, drank water, lay in the patch of sun by the chain-link fence looking peaceful. The other dogs barked at her through the fence. She ignored them. Everyone just existed together. My vet, Dr. Marcus Webb, came out 2 days after I brought Goldie home. Let me see the parking lot dog. Marcus examined Goldie carefully, checked her body condition, her teeth, her mammary glands, palpated her belly to feel the puppies. She's thin but not starving, maybe 7 or 8 years old, probably 3 to 5 days away from whelping, maybe less. No visible injuries. Seems sound, actually. Good bone structure under all this mess. Carolyn, where did she come from? Parking lot. Guy was trying to sell her. I got her for $100. $100 for a pregnant dog. Marcus frowned. That's suspicious. Dogs this close to whelping usually bring more money, even mutts, either as breeding stock or for the litter included value. Why was she so cheap? I don't know. Maybe she has a history. Maybe she's been through multiple owners. Maybe people just didn't see her. Or maybe there's something wrong, something not visible. Marcus closed his bag. Carolyn, you need to be prepared for complications. Cheap pregnant dogs are cheap for a reason. After Marcus left, I sat outside Goldie's kennel and watched her lie in the sun, watched her shift her weight, trying to get comfortable with all that full belly. I don't know your story. Don't know where you came from or who owned you or why they let you go. But you're here now, and whatever happens with these puppies, you're safe. That's the promise. That's what $100 bought. Safety. 4 days after bringing Goldie home, she went into labor. I found her at 2 a.m., pacing in the whelping box I'd set up in my mudroom, panting heavily. The puppies were coming. I called Marcus. Called my neighbor Beth, who bred labs and had whelping experience. Called my friend Simone, who volunteered at another rescue. Got help because I'd never delivered a litter alone and wasn't starting now. Marcus arrived first, examined Goldie, confirmed she was in active labor, set up towels, heating pads, the puppy scale. Everything looks normal so far. Pups are positioned correctly, Mom is handling it well. We just wait and monitor. Beth arrived 10 minutes later. Simone, 20 minutes after that. We sat in the mudroom watching Goldie work. Watching nature do what nature does. Watching the ancient process of birth that's both routine and miraculous. And then the first puppy came. Welcome back, family. Before we dive into today's story, make sure to subscribe and tell us in the comments section where you are watching from. I've got another great one dropping tomorrow that you definitely want to see. Now, let's begin. The first puppy slid out at 2:47 a.m., wet and dark and wriggling in the towel Marcus placed on the scale. He cleared its airway, rubbed it with the towel until it squeaked, then handed it to me while Goldie panted through the next contraction. Healthy, good size. Maybe a pound and a half. I placed the puppy at Goldie's belly. She immediately began licking it, that automatic maternal instinct kicking in. The puppy latched on and nursed. But something was already bothering me. The puppy was big, really big, for what I'd assumed would be a mixed breed litter from a medium-sized mutt. And as Marcus wiped away the birth fluid, I could see the coloring starting to show through. Black and tan, distinct saddle pattern. That's a chunky pup, Beth said, leaning closer. What do you think she got bred by? Lab, maybe? Before I could answer, Goldie pushed again. Puppy number 2 arrived 6 minutes later, then number 3, then 4. Each one the same. Large, blocky-headed, black and tan with the same distinct markings, same thick paws. Same broad muzzle starting to take shape even in those first wet minutes of life. By puppy number 5, nobody was talking about labs anymore. Carolyn. Marcus's voice was careful, measured. These aren't mutts. I can see that. No, I mean these really aren't mutts. Look at them. He gestured to the 5 puppies now squirming at Goldie's belly, all latched on, all identical in size and markings. This is a purebred litter. This is German Shepherd. Quality German Shepherd. I sat back on my heels, staring at Goldie, at the dog I'd bought for $100 in a parking lot, covered in mud and matted fur, sold by some guy who couldn't get rid of her fast enough. Puppy 6 arrived, same as the others. This was a planned breeding, Beth said quietly. You don't get a litter this uniform by accident. Same size, same markings, same structure. Someone bred her intentionally, probably to a papered stud. Puppy 7. Still coming. My hands were shaking as I helped Marcus with the cleanup, as we made sure each puppy was breathing and nursing and warm. My mind was racing through possibilities, none of them good. You don't sell a pregnant, purebred German Shepherd for $100 in a Walmart parking lot unless something is very wrong. Unless she's stolen, unless you need her gone before someone comes looking. Puppy 8 arrived at 4:15 a.m. The last one. Goldie finally relaxed, exhausted, surrounded by 8 perfect puppies that she should never have been sold away from. 8 puppies that were worth thousands of dollars to the right buyer. 8 puppies that might belong to someone else. Marcus met my eyes across the whelping box. Tomorrow, we scan her for a microchip. I nodded, already knowing what we'd find. Marcus ran the scanner over Goldie's shoulders first, then her neck, moving in slow passes. Nothing. He moved down her back, her flanks, working methodically while Goldie stood patient on the exam table, her puppies sleeping in a heated crate nearby. "Sometimes they migrate," he said, moving the scanner lower. "Especially in older dogs, or if it wasn't placed correctly, or if there was trauma." The scanner beeped. "There." Marcus pressed it against Goldie's left hip. The screen lit up with a 15-digit number. "Got it. Way down from where it should be, but it's there." He wrote down the number and walked to his computer. I stayed with Goldie, my hand on her back, feeling the rise and fall of her breathing. She leaned into my touch, tired from nursing 8 hungry puppies around the clock. "Chip is registered to..." Marcus paused, scrolling. "Robert Holbrook, address in Alpharetta. Registered 6 years ago under the name Holbrook's Bella von Schwarzwald." Bella. Her real name was Bella. "I'll look him up," I said, already pulling out my phone. The first result was a website, Holbrook German Shepherds. Professional, polished. Photos of stunning dogs in show stances, ribbons, certificates from competitions I'd heard of but never attended, IPO titles, Seeger shows, U.S. Skia Nationals. Robert Holbrook wasn't just a breeder. He was a top-tier breeder. I clicked on the Our Dogs page, and there she was. Same amber eyes, same elegant head. But in the photo, Bella's coat gleamed black and tan, professionally groomed, her stance confident. The caption read, "GV Select Holbrook's Bella von Schwarzwald, IPO 3, FH1, KKL1. Multiple high in trial, dam of national champions." My hands felt cold. "Marcus?" "Yeah? He's legit. This guy is legit." I turned my phone to show him. "This isn't some backyard breeder. This is serious money, serious reputation." I scrolled further and found the news section. The third post down was dated 6 months ago. Holbrook German Shepherds experienced a break-in on the night of June 18th. 2 adult females were stolen, Bella von Schwarzwald and Freya von Holbrook. Both dogs are microchipped. If you have any information, please contact us immediately. $10,000 reward for information leading to their safe return. There was a photo. Bella standing beside another shepherd, both gorgeous, both clearly valued, both stolen. "The guy in the parking lot," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "He stole her, or bought her from whoever did, and when she got pregnant, probably already pregnant when they took her, she became a liability instead of an asset. So he ditched her." Marcus crossed his arms, staring at the screen. "You have to call him." "I know. Today, Carolyn. Those puppies are his. That dog is his." "I know." My throat felt tight. I looked at Goldie, at Bella, standing calmly on the exam table, trusting me completely. The dog I'd saved, the dog I'd promised safety, the dog who'd never been mine at all. I pulled up the contact page and stared at the phone number. My thumb hovered over the screen. Then I pressed call. The phone rang 3 times before a man answered. "Holbrook Shepherds. This is Robert." Professional. Composed. The voice of someone who ran a business, who expected calls about stud services or puppy inquiries or training consultations. I hadn't prepared what to say. "Mr. Holbrook, my name is Carolyn Frazier. I run a small rescue in Georgia." My voice sounded steadier than I felt. "I'm calling because I think I have your dog." Silence, long enough that I thought the call had dropped. "Which dog?" His voice had changed, sharper, careful. "Bella. Bella von Schwarzwald. I bought her 4 days ago from a man in a parking lot. She was pregnant. She gave birth 2 nights ago to 8 puppies. We scanned her today and found your microchip information." More silence. then a sound I didn't expect. Crying. Not loud, not dramatic. Just the quiet, broken sound of someone who'd been holding their breath for 6 months and could finally exhale. "She's alive?" His voice cracked. "Bella's alive?" "Yes. She's healthy. Thin, but healthy. The puppies are all doing well. 8 of them. All black and tan. All 8!" He was still crying. I could hear him trying to control it, trying to pull himself together. She actually had them. I thought, when they took her, she was 3 weeks bred to my best male. I thought if whoever stole her found out she was pregnant, they'd... He couldn't finish the sentence. I understood. They'd either force her through more breedings or dispose of her when she became inconvenient. "Mr. Holbrook, she's safe. I promise you, she's safe." I looked everywhere. His words came faster now, spilling out. Everywhere. Every shelter within 200 miles. Every online listing. Every auction. I drove to kill pens in 3 states. I hired someone to monitor the Facebook groups where stolen dogs get flipped. I thought she was dead. I thought they'd... He stopped, breathed. Bella is my foundation female. My best dog. But more than that, she's family. I've had her since she was 8 weeks old. Trained her myself. Titled her myself. She sleeps on my bed. She's my partner. I watched Goldie, Bella, through Marcus's exam room window. She was lying in the crate with her puppies, licking each one methodically. "I know what it's like to love a dog that much," I said quietly. "Where are you? I can be there today. Tonight. Whenever you..." "Cartersville. Frazier's safe haven. But Mr. Holbrook, Robert, I need you to know something." I gripped the phone tighter. "She's been through a lot. She was covered in mud when I got her. Matted. Underweight. Whoever had her didn't treat her well. She's going to need time. I don't care." His voice was firm now. Focused. "I don't care what shape she's in. I just want her home." "Okay." My chest felt hollow. "Okay. When can you come?" "I'm leaving now." Robert Holbrook pulled into my gravel driveway 4 hours later in a black F-350 with Holbrook German Shepherds emblazoned on the side in silver lettering. Professional. Expensive. The kind of truck that cost more than I'd made in the last 2 years combined. He stepped out wearing dark jeans and a polo shirt with his kennel logo embroidered on the chest. Tall, maybe mid-50s, with gray at his temples, and the kind of calm confidence that came from success. Behind him, the truck's extended cab probably cost more than my entire rescue operation. I met him in the yard wearing my usual uniform, mud-stained jeans, a faded rescue t-shirt, boots held together with duct tape. The contrast wasn't lost on either of us. "Carolyn?" He extended his hand. His grip was firm, but his eyes were already scanning past me toward the kennels. Searching. "She's inside. I wanted her in a quiet space for the reunion." I gestured toward the house. "The puppies are with her." He followed me through the crooked screen door, past the living room that doubled as my office, into the mudroom where Bella lay in her whelping box. She lifted her head when we entered, alert but calm. Then she saw him. The change was instant. Her ears shot forward. Her entire body went rigid with attention. She made a sound I'd never heard from her, a high, whining cry that came from somewhere deep in her chest. "Bella!" Robert's voice broke. He dropped to his knees beside the whelping box. "Bella, girl, I'm here." She lunged toward him, puppies forgotten, trying to climb out of the box. He reached for her and she pressed her head into his chest. That whining cry continuous now, her whole body trembling. He wrapped his arms around her and buried his face in her neck. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." He was crying again, and Bella was licking his face, his hands, pressing against him like she was trying to climb inside his skin. Like 6 months of separation was being erased in seconds. I stood in the doorway watching them, and something in my chest cracked open. This wasn't a dog reuniting with an owner. This was a dog finding her person. Her real person. The one she'd been waiting for. The one she'd never stopped waiting for. I was just the stopover. The safe place between her nightmare and her home. Robert finally pulled back enough to look at her, his hands running over her body, checking her legs, her ribs, her face. "You had your babies. You had them without me." His voice was soft, awed. He looked at the 8 puppies squirming in the box. "Bella, they're beautiful. They're perfect." She licked his face again, then turned back to her puppies, settling down. But she kept one paw touching Robert's knee, anchoring him, making sure he wouldn't disappear again. I realized I was the other woman in this dog's life, and I was okay with that. Robert spent 20 minutes examining each puppy, checking them over with the practiced hands of someone who'd whelped dozens of litters. He weighed them on a small scale he'd brought from his truck, made notes on his phone, nodded with satisfaction. "They're all strong. Good bone. Good size. This is exactly what I was hoping for with this breeding." He looked up at me. "You did an incredible job with the whelping." I had help. My vet was here. Still. He stood, brushing off his knees. Most people wouldn't have known what to do. Wouldn't have cared enough to try. He reached into his back pocket and pulled out a checkbook. "The reward was $10,000. But honestly, that doesn't even begin to cover what you've done. The vet bills alone, the food, your time." "No." The word came out harder than I meant it to. Robert paused, pen hovering over the check. "Carolyn, I didn't do this for money. I did it because she needed help." I crossed my arms, suddenly exhausted. "I bought her because some asshole was going to dump her in the woods. I helped her give birth because that's what you do. You don't get to write me a check and make this transactional." He studied me for a long moment, then slowly put the checkbook away. "Okay, but I'm going to find a way to help your rescue. That's not negotiable." "Fine. Later. Not now." He nodded and went to his truck to get a transport crate. A professional whelping box on wheels, climate-controlled, with clean blankets and a heating pad already plugged into an inverter. Of course he had one. Of course it was nicer than anything I owned. We transferred Bella and the puppies carefully. She went willingly, following Robert's guidance, trusting him completely. The puppies barely stirred, milk-drunk and sleeping. Robert secured the crate in his truck, double-checking the straps. "I'll send you updates, photos. I want you to see how they grow." "You don't have to." "I want to." He met my eyes. "You're part of their story now. You're part of Bella's story. That matters." I nodded, not trusting my voice. He climbed into his truck. Bella watched me through the crate door, calm and content, already moving on. I stood in my driveway and watched the F-350 pull away, watched it disappear down the road until even the dust settled. Then I walked back into my house. The mudroom was empty. The whelping box sat unused, towels still piled beside it. The heating pad cord dangled. The space where Bella had been for less than a week felt cavernous. I sat down on the floor and put my head in my hands. This was the part they didn't tell you about rescue work. The letting go. The watching something you saved walk away with someone else. The emptiness that rushed in after. I'd done the right thing. I knew I'd done the right thing. But my house was silent, and I wasn't sure my heart could take this work anymore. Robert spent 20 minutes examining each puppy, checking them over with the practiced hands of someone who'd whelped dozens of litters. He weighed them on a small scale he'd brought from his truck, made notes on his phone, nodded with satisfaction. They're all strong. Good bone, good size. This is exactly what I was hoping for with this breeding. He looked up at me. You did an incredible job with the whelping. I had help. My vet was here. Still. He stood, brushing off his knees. Most people wouldn't have known what to do. Wouldn't have cared enough to try. He reached into his back pocket and pulled out a checkbook. The reward was $10,000, but honestly, that doesn't even begin to cover what you've done. The vet bills alone, the food, your time. No. The word came out harder than I meant it to. Robert paused, pen hovering over the check. Carolyn, I didn't do this for money. I did it because she needed help. I crossed my arms, suddenly exhausted. I bought her because some asshole was going to dump her in the woods. I helped her give birth because that's what you do. You don't get to write me a check and make this transactional. He studied me for a long moment, then slowly put the checkbook away. Okay, but I'm going to find a way to help your rescue. That's not negotiable. Fine. Later. Not now. He nodded and went to his truck to get a transport crate, a professional whelping box on wheels, climate-controlled, with clean blankets and a heating pad already plugged into an inverter. Of course he had one. Of course it was nicer than anything I owned. We transferred Bella and the puppies carefully. She went willingly, following Robert's guidance, trusting him completely. The puppies barely stirred, milk-drunk and sleeping. Robert secured the crate in his truck, double-checking the straps. I'll send you updates, photos. I want you to see how they grow. You don't have to. I want to. He met my eyes. You're part of their story now. You're part of Bella's story. That matters. I nodded, not trusting my voice. He climbed into his truck. Bella watched me through the crate door, calm and content, already moving on. I stood in my driveway and watched the F-350 pull away, watched it disappear down the road until even the dust settled. Then I walked back into my house. The mudroom was empty. The whelping box sat unused, towels still piled beside it. The heating pad cord dangled. The space where Bella had been for less than a week felt cavernous. I sat down on the floor and put my head in my hands. This was the part they didn't tell you about rescue work. The letting go. The watching something you saved walk away with someone else. The emptiness that rushed in after. I'd done the right thing. I knew I'd done the right thing. But my house was silent, and I wasn't sure my heart could take this work anymore. The envelope arrived 7 days after Robert left, thick and official-looking with Holbrook German Shepherds printed in the corner. I almost didn't open it, almost threw it in the pile of bills I'd been avoiding since buying Bella. Inside was a letter on professional letterhead and 2 checks. Carolyn, I know you didn't want payment, and I'm respecting that. But your rescue saved my dog's life and delivered 8 healthy puppies that represent the future of my breeding program. So here's what I've done. Check 1 is made out directly to Dr. Marcus Webb's practice for the full amount of your outstanding balance plus a $5,000 credit toward future care. Check 2 is for Frazier's Safe Haven for facility improvements. I noticed your kennel roof. This should cover that and then some. This isn't a reward. This is an investment in making sure you can keep doing what you do. Attached are photos from yesterday. Bella is home. Robert. The first check was for $3,847.52, the exact amount I owed Marcus down to the cent. He'd called the clinic. He'd asked. The second check was for $15,000. I sat at my kitchen table staring at the numbers until they blurred. This was a new roof. This was fixing the drainage in Kennel 3. This was 6 months of dog food. This was the buffer I never had. The safety net that meant I could say yes the next time I saw a dog that needed help. The photos showed Bella in a sprawling green yard, puppies tumbling around her, her coat gleaming in the sunlight. She looked like she'd never suffered a day in her life. I was still staring at the checks when my phone rang. Marcus. Turn on the news. Channel 5. I grabbed the remote. The midday news was showing a mug shot of a man in his 30s, stringy hair, dead eyes. The same man who'd sold me Bella in the Walmart parking lot. Arrested this morning in connection with a multi-state dog theft ring. Authorities say Kevin Brandt and 2 accomplices are responsible for at least 15 high-value dog thefts over the past year, targeting purebred dogs from kennels across the Southeast. Brandt was apprehended following a tip that included a detailed physical description and vehicle information from a Georgia woman who unknowingly purchased one of the stolen dogs. The screen cut to a sheriff's deputy at a press conference. "We want to thank the citizen who came forward. Her detailed account of the transaction and the dog's condition was instrumental in identifying the suspect and building our case. We're hopeful this arrest will lead to recovering other stolen animals and bringing the entire operation down." My hands were shaking. I'd described him to Robert. Robert had called the police, and now the man who'd stolen Bella, who'd let her suffer, who'd tried to sell her like garbage, was in custody. The news moved on to weather, but I kept staring at the screen. Sometimes doing the right thing had consequences that rippled further than you could see. Sometimes $100 in a parking lot changed everything. The email came on a Tuesday morning, 13 months after I'd handed Bella back to Robert. "Carolyn, Bella is entered in the USCA National Championship next month in Pennsylvania. She's been back in training for 6 months, and she's better than ever. I'd like you to be there. I've arranged everything. Hotel, travel, tickets. You should see what you saved. Please come." Robert. I almost said no. National championships weren't my world. I rescued parking lot dogs and shelter rejects, not show dogs worth tens of thousands of dollars. But something in the invitation felt like more than politeness. So I went. The venue was massive, an exposition center packed with grooming stations, vendor booths, and ring after ring of immaculate German shepherds. Handlers in suits, dogs moving with mechanical precision. A world where perfection was measured in millimeters and angulation. I found Robert near ring 3. He was in a dark suit, Bella beside him on a show lead, her coat gleaming like black silk. She looked magnificent, regal, nothing like the muddy, pregnant dog I'd bought for $100. "You came." Robert's face split into a genuine smile. He pulled me into a quick hug. "She's in the finals. Top 10 females in the country." "Robert, I don't know anything about dog shows." "You don't need to. Just watch." Bella entered the ring with 9 other females, all stunning, all moving with that distinctive German shepherd gait. The judge examined each one, checking structure, temperament, movement. The crowd was silent, focused. When the judge pointed to Bella for first place, the applause was deafening. But they weren't done. She went into the final round, best in show. Bella against the top male, the young dog class winners, the veterans, the best of the best. I watched her move across the mat, powerful and elegant, head high. Watched the judge study her, run his hands over her structure, watch her gait. When he pointed at Bella, designating her select one, essentially best in show, Robert grabbed my hand. "That's her. That's your parking lot dog." They called Robert into the ring for the awards ceremony. He took the ribbon, the trophy, posed for photos with Bella sitting perfectly at his side. Then he did something unexpected. He gestured to me. "Come here." "Robert, no." "Carolyn, get in this ring." I walked out on shaking legs. The announcer was saying something about Bella's journey, her theft, her recovery. Robert handed me one end of Bella's lead. "This is Carolyn Frazier," he said into the microphone the announcer offered. "She runs a small rescue in Georgia. She's the one who found Bella, who saved her, who made sure she and her puppies survived." He looked at me, his eyes bright. "I own her, but Carolyn saved her." The crowd applauded. Bella leaned against my leg, calm and steady. The trash dog nobody wanted was a national champion. and I was standing in the winner's circle, holding her lead. 3 years after the Nationals, Robert's truck pulled into my driveway unannounced on a Thursday evening. The sun was low, casting everything in that honey gold light that made even my patched-together rescue look almost beautiful. I walked out to meet him, wiping my hands on my jeans. "Robert, you didn't tell me you were coming." "I know." He smiled, that calm confidence still there but softer now, warmer. "I wanted this to be a surprise." He walked to the passenger side of his truck and opened the door. 2 German shepherds jumped out. The first was Bella, older now, a touch of gray on her muzzle, moving with the careful dignity of a retired champion. But still stunning, still unmistakably her. The second was younger, maybe 2 years old, and so similar to Bella it stopped my breath. Same elegant head, same amber eyes, same black and tan coloring with that perfect saddle. But where Bella moved with veteran wisdom, this dog moved with barely contained energy, bright and eager and watching everything. "This is Sasha," Robert said, holding the younger dog's leash. "Bella's daughter. From that litter you delivered, the pick female." The 2 dogs stood side by side in the golden light, and the resemblance was stunning. Past and future, champion and inheritor. "She's beautiful," I managed. "But Robert, why are you—" "She's yours." The words didn't register at first. "What?" "Sasha, she's yours." He held out the leash to me. "Fully registered, all her health clearances done, titled in IPO 1. She's the best of Bella's last litter before we retired her, and she belongs with you." "Robert, I can't afford a dog like this. I can't—" "You're not buying her. I'm giving her to you." He pressed the leash into my hand. "Carolyn, you saved Bella. You saved this entire bloodline. Every puppy that came from that litter, every title they've earned, every dog they'll produce. That exists because you spent your last $100 in a parking lot. You didn't do it for recognition. You didn't do it for money. You did it because it was right." Sasha leaned against my leg, the same way Bella had in the winner's circle 3 years ago. "This is the legacy," Robert continued. "Not just Bella's legacy, yours. Proof that the dog nobody wanted produced something extraordinary, and I want you to have a piece of that." Bella walked over and sat beside me, bookending me with her daughter. 2 generations of champions flanking a woman in duct-taped boots who'd never asked for anything more than the chance to help. "She's really mine?" My voice cracked. "She's really yours." I knelt between them. One hand on Bella's graying head, the other on Sasha's strong shoulder. The parking lot dog and her daughter. The miracle I'd saved and the legacy she'd created. Finally, I got to keep one. "I'm so glad you stayed with me until the end. If this story caught your interest, just wait until you see the next one. It's truly mind-blowing. Click the image on your screen right now to check it out, and I'll see you over there."